When Mel Kiper Jr. singles out a rookie after one game, it's worth listening. The longtime draft analyst, known for restraint with young quarterbacks, called Shedeur Sanders NFL ready after just one start. That level of praise didn't come lightly. Sanders, thrust into action with almost no prep, didn't just play clean football, he commanded the offense. His accuracy and decision-making under pressure were elite by any standard, let alone for a player most saw as a long-term project. Kiper made it clear, this wasn't a fluke, it was a glimpse of what's coming. And now what's coming is a 49ers defense reeling from injuries with just enough holes for Sanders to attack, if he's ready. With 2 weeks of practice behind him, this game isn't just a chance to shine. It's an opportunity to shift the narrative from promising debut to permanent solution in Cleveland. A fifth-round rookie quarterback with 1 week of first-team reps walks into his NFL debut, stares down the Ravens' defense and leaves everyone, fans, analysts, and especially Mel Kiper Jr., re-evaluating everything they thought they knew about quarterback development.
If you're into the real story and all the messy twists they don't show on highlight reels, go ahead and subscribe. And if you're sticking around to see how this Browns QB chaos plays out, you should definitely be subscribed.
That rookie is Shedeur Sanders. And Mel Kiper didn't just like what he saw, he raised a red flag to the rest of the league. In Kiper's words, Sanders already looks like an NFL-caliber starting quarterback. That's not a casual compliment. That's a rare, calculated endorsement from someone who's spent decades breaking down young quarterbacks. For him to make that kind of call after one NFL start? That means something big is brewing in Cleveland. Let's get one thing straight, this wasn't supposed to happen. The Browns drafted Sanders in the 5th round. He wasn't projected to start anytime soon. He wasn't groomed in training camp as a potential breakout star. In fact, the internal plan didn't even have him in the conversation as the top option. But when things started to shift and Cleveland needed a spark, General Manager Andrew Berry pushed for Sanders to get a shot. That push wasn't met with excitement across the board. Head coach Kevin Stefanski and offensive coordinator Tommy Rees weren't sold. Reports say they were hesitant, skeptical about whether Sanders was ready for real game action. Their concerns weren't totally unfounded. Sanders hadn't taken many first-team snaps. The chemistry wasn't there. He was being tossed into a pressure cooker situation against one of the league's more aggressive defenses. But none of that mattered once the game started. Because what Sanders put on display was not the performance of a deer-in-headlights rookie. He was composed, calculated, and accurate. He ran the offense like it was built for him. He didn't force bad throws. He wasn't late on reads. He understood the assignment, and he executed it like a veteran. Kiper pointed to 3 things that immediately stood out: elite accuracy, pocket awareness, and poise under pressure. Let's talk about that accuracy. Sanders didn't just hit open receivers. He threw with precision, timing, ball placement that set his receivers up to keep moving. That's the kind of control that even some third-year starters haven't mastered. And when the Ravens brought pressure, and they did bring pressure, Sanders didn't flinch. He slid in the pocket. He stayed balanced. He kept his eyes downfield. He didn't just survive the pressure. He operated through it. And that's what turned heads. Because it's one thing for a young quarterback to not look totally lost in his first NFL start. It's another for him to look like he belongs. Kiper made it clear, this wasn't a lucky outing or a safe, watered-down version of the offense designed to hide the quarterback. Sanders ran the full system. He made real throws. And he made smart decisions. You could see the college experience coming through, years of being a starter, making reads, facing adversity, and building mental resilience. That's what separates Sanders from so many other rookies. He came into the NFL with miles on his cleats. At Jackson State and Colorado, he was under constant pressure to perform. He faced real criticism, real spotlight, and real expectations. And instead of cracking, he grew. That foundation is why he didn't look rattled against Baltimore. It's why the lights didn't seem too bright. But it wasn't all just him. Cleveland's defense deserves credit too. Against the Raiders, that same defense logged 10 sacks. They're not just good, they're dominant. That kind of defensive performance buys time for a young quarterback. It shifts the pressure. Instead of being asked to throw the team on his back, Sanders was allowed to run the offense with structure, stay within the game plan, and let the defense control the tempo. And that setup? It worked. Now the question becomes, can he build on it? Because next up, he's facing the San Francisco 49ers. And while the Niners are still dangerous, their secondary has been struggling. Injuries have left holes in coverage. That vulnerability could open the door for Sanders to do even more damage through the air, especially now that he's had 2 full weeks of first-team reps. That's the part people aren't talking about enough. This isn't the same Sanders who was tossed into the fire with 1 week of preparation. This version is more comfortable with the offense. He's had more time to build timing with receivers, more reps reading live defenses in practice, and more chances to study game tape and make adjustments. So this second start? It's a real opportunity. If he comes out and delivers another sharp performance, maybe even a couple touchdowns, it's no longer a feel-good rookie story. It's a quarterback controversy. Or better yet, a quarterback shift. Because let's be honest, if Sanders plays well again, the Browns won't be able to justify putting him back on the bench. Not with the fanbase watching. Not with the front office already leaning in. And not with analysts like Mel Kiper going public with this level of praise. The tension between the front office and coaching staff becomes unavoidable. When the GM's pick is proving himself on the field, it puts pressure on the coaches to adjust, and quickly. Stefanski and Rees may have wanted to ease Sanders in, but there's no easing when your quarterback is outplaying expectations in real time. 2. And then there's the draft. This changes everything. If Sanders continues to look like a legitimate starter, Cleveland's 2026 draft board suddenly looks very different. They don't need to invest early draft capital on another quarterback. They can focus on surrounding Sanders with protection, weapons, or defensive depth. That ripple effect could set the Browns up for long-term roster flexibility, something they haven't had in years because they've constantly been in quarterback limbo. That's what this moment is. It's more than a good rookie debut. It's a potential turning point for a franchise that spent decades chasing the wrong quarterbacks at the wrong time. And now, a 5th-round pick, initially dismissed as a developmental project, is out here flipping that script. But it all hinges on what comes next. The 49ers will throw a tougher look than what Sanders saw in his debut. They'll try to disguise coverages, blitz from unexpected angles, and challenge him to adapt on the fly. But if he does adapt, if he keeps the offense moving, keeps the mistakes minimal, and shows continued growth, then this story moves past the surprising rookie phase. It becomes something permanent. Because quarterbacks who come in cold and string together efficient, mature performances, those aren't flashes. That's foundation. And the Browns haven't had that in a very long time. Let us know where you stand. Has Shedeur Sanders already proven he's Cleveland's long-term answer? Or do you think this is still too early to call? Drop a comment with your thoughts, like the video if you're buying into the Sanders storyline, share it with a Browns fan who needs some hope, and hit subscribe to stay locked in on the most unpredictable quarterback situation in the league right now. Because if this next game goes like the last one, there won't be any more questions. Only decisions. And the biggest decision is already staring the Browns in the face. What happens if Shedeur Sanders wins again? It's not hypothetical anymore. The moment he stepped onto the field and played like someone who's been in the league for years, the clock started ticking. The rookie learning curve? He didn't just flatten it, he hurdled it. And now the Browns coaching staff is in a position no team really wants to admit they're in, reacting to their own rookie outperforming their expectations. Because let's be honest, Kevin Stefanski and Tommy Rees didn't believe this would work. If they did, Sanders would have had more than a week of first-team practice before he faced Baltimore. But it was the GM, Andrew Berry, who saw something in Shedeur and pulled the trigger. And now, with Mel Kiper throwing praise around like confetti, the spotlight has officially moved away from if Sanders belongs and landed squarely on how long the Browns can keep him off the field, if at all. Mel Kiper doesn't say things lightly. His whole reputation is built on evaluating talent at a high level, and he's had his fair share of misses and wins over the years. But when he says Shedeur Sanders already looks like a starting NFL quarterback, that carries weight. It's not fan hype. It's not clickbait. It's the kind of statement that front offices pay attention to, whether they admit it or not. He's not calling Shedeur the next superstar. But what he's saying loud and clear is this: the guy's got it. The accuracy, the poise, the pocket feel, the ability to diagnose a defense and make the smart decision instead of the flashy one. That doesn't come standard with rookies, especially ones taken in the 5th round. And again, this is with limited prep. Shedeur came into that game against Baltimore with barely any chemistry with the starting offense. Limited reps, short runway. Yet there he was, looking like he knew the system. He didn't panic. He didn't flinch. He moved in the pocket like someone who's felt real pressure before, and handled it. That goes back to his college experience, which is something a lot of analysts overlooked during the draft process. He played high-pressure games at both Jackson State and Colorado, and he wasn't just managing games, he was carrying programs. That kind of responsibility at the college level translates more than people realize. So when he stepped on that NFL field, the moment wasn't too big. It felt familiar. And that's why you didn't see panic or happy feet or the usual rookie mistakes. You saw command. But here's the key, can he do it again? Because the NFL isn't kind to young quarterbacks who flash once and fall flat and start number 2. That's what the 49ers are going to try to force. They're watching the Baltimore tape. They're going to try to take away what Shedeur does well. Disguised coverages, pre-snap movement, confusing blitz packages. They'll try to speed up his process, force him off his spot, and bait him into bad decisions. That's what makes this second start so pivotal. Because it's not just about playing well, it's about proving that he can evolve. That he can handle being game planned for. That he can adjust mid-game, mid-drive, and stay in control. And if he does that, if he shows the same level of accuracy, timing, and decision-making, then the Browns have their guy. It won't matter what the original quarterback plan was. It won't matter who was supposed to start. If Shedeur plays like a starter, the Browns have to treat him like one. Period. This is the kind of situation that redefines a team's direction. Cleveland isn't just evaluating quarterback play, they're potentially making a pivot that could reshape their draft board, their free agency targets, and the entire identity of their offense. Because here's the reality. If Sanders continues to prove he's the real deal, the Browns don't need to use a high pick on a quarterback in 2026. That opens the door for more weapons, more protection, more support pieces to maximize his development. It's the kind of long-term flexibility that franchises dream about, finding your quarterback without burning top-tier capital to get him. And the irony is it's happening in Cleveland. A franchise that has cycled through more quarterbacks than almost any other team in the last 2 decades. Year after year, draft after draft, new face after new face, and now a rookie from the 5th round given 1 week of prep might be the one who finally ends that cycle. But they have to let him. They have to see what's in front of them. Because every snap he plays well is more evidence that this isn't a fluke. It's a trajectory. That's what Mel Kiper's warning to the league is really about. It's not hype, it's caution. Don't wait too long to take this seriously. Don't miss the window to act while the signs are right there on tape. And it's not just about performance, it's about presence. Shedeur Sanders looks like a quarterback. He carries himself like one. He's calm, controlled, and communicates like he knows he belongs. That kind of confidence doesn't come from luck. It comes from preparation, repetition, and a mental edge that you either have or you don't. So this game against the 49ers? It's more than just a test, it's a launch pad. If Sanders goes out there, performs well again, and beats a respected defense, especially one that's clearly trying to expose him, then the league is going to have to adjust their narrative. And Cleveland? They'll have no choice but to move forward with him. Not as a placeholder. Not as a cute story. But as the guy. And once that happens, there's no going back. So now we wait. Will Shedeur Sanders keep rising? Will he take this chance and keep proving he's not just a capable rookie, but a potential cornerstone? Or will the 49ers bring him back down to earth? Either way, the stakes are clear. The spotlight is on. And every decision the Browns make from here on out will be shaped by what this rookie does next. What makes this so fascinating is how fast it's all happening. We're talking about a player who wasn't even supposed to see the field this early in the season. No extended camp hype. No preseason breakout. No whispers that he was quietly pushing for a starting job. He wasn't even the coaching staff's first choice, or their second. He was a 5th-round pick, expected to sit, learn, and maybe compete for backup reps in a year or two. Instead, Shedeur Sanders is on the verge of flipping the quarterback hierarchy in Cleveland entirely. And the NFL is watching. Because it's not just about his debut against Baltimore. That was impressive, yes. But now, going into his second start against the 49ers, the question isn't, can he handle it? The question is, what happens when he does? This game has weight. It has layers. It has consequences. San Francisco's defense is no joke. Their front four can wreck games. Their linebackers are fast and physical. But their secondary? That's the weak spot. They've been exposed multiple times this season. Big plays, busted coverages, missed assignments. And now, here comes Sanders with 2 full weeks of practice. More time with the first team, more reps, more confidence, and a real opportunity to take advantage of a vulnerable unit. And this isn't just an, if he plays well, great scenario. This is, if he plays well, they can't go back. Because when a rookie quarterback shows you calm under pressure, maturity in the pocket, and NFL-level accuracy, and then follows it up with consistency, you don't treat that like a coincidence. You treat it like a sign. And the Browns? They've been begging for a sign for years. Quarterback purgatory has been Cleveland's reality for decades. First-round picks that fizzled. Big-name trades that collapsed. Journeymen who gave hope and then disappeared. If Shedeur Sanders keeps this up, they finally have a reason to stop the cycle. But this is where the internal pressure starts to build. Because this is no longer about development. This isn't about easing a young quarterback in. This is about winning now, with a rookie who's doing everything they didn't expect this early. And when the rookie looks more prepared than the veterans, when he earns respect in the huddle, when the ball doesn't hit the ground as often, it's not just about potential. It's about performance. And Mel Kiper wasn't vague in his analysis. He said what a lot of people were thinking but didn't want to say too early. That Shedeur already looks like a starting NFL quarterback. Not based on upside. Not based on what he might become. Based on what he is right now. That matters. Especially because it wasn't a soft landing. The Ravens' defense isn't one you want to see for your first NFL action. It's aggressive. It disguises blitzes. It eats young quarterbacks alive. But Sanders looked like he belonged. And now he gets a matchup that, while tougher in certain areas, offers the chance to build on that debut. If he reads the field well again, if he takes care of the football, if he finds weak spots in coverage and gets his playmakers involved, then you're looking at something real. You're looking at a quarterback who isn't just playing within the offense, but one who's ready to own it. And that's when everything, because if he does it against San Francisco and the Browns win and he looks sharp doing it, you think Stefanski can go back to the original plan? You think they can keep pretending this is a short-term experiment? There's no benching a quarterback who just took down two of the most respected defenses in the league in back-to-back games, especially when he's doing it without turnovers, with precision passing, and with complete control of the offense. That's the moment where rookie hype turns into franchise planning. It's not just Mel Kiper who sees it now. Analysts across the league are starting to shift their tone. What looked like a temporary solution is quickly becoming a long-term opportunity. And if the Browns lean into it, this might be the start of a completely new chapter for the franchise. Let's talk about the draft implications again because this is massive. Cleveland was likely eyeing quarterback options in 2026, depending on how this season played out. It's been that way for years, always with one eye on the next big thing. But if Shedeur keeps playing like this, they don't need to spend a first or second rounder on a quarterback. That changes everything. Suddenly they're free to draft the best available talent. Reinforce the offensive line. Add dynamic receivers. Shore up depth on defense. Build around the quarterback, not search for one. That's the freedom a franchise gets when they hit on a young quarterback. And the fact that Cleveland may have done it in the 5th round? That's game-changing. But again, it all comes back to this second start. This game isn't just a checkpoint, it's a potential inflection point. Because if Shedeur goes out there and delivers another performance like the one against Baltimore or better, the Browns won't just have a quarterback, they'll have a situation. And the coaching staff will have a choice to make. Do they double down on what they're seeing with their own eyes? Or do they fall back on the development timeline and risk losing the momentum? Because here's the thing, the locker room knows. Players know who gives them the best chance to win. And once that trust is built, you can't fake it. If Sanders keeps stacking strong performances, the team will rally behind him. And any decision to slow that down won't sit well. So the smart move is simple, let it ride. Let the rookie cook. Let him grow. Let him continue proving that what happened in his first start wasn't a fluke. It was the start of something real. And if that means ripping up the old depth chart, then so be it. That's what good organizations do. They adapt to what's working, not what was written on a whiteboard 6 months ago. So now all eyes are on Sunday. Shedeur Sanders. On the road. Against a playoff-caliber team. With the league watching, the fan base buzzing, and Mel Kiper's endorsement still echoing. The question isn't can he rise to the moment. It's what happens when he does. And if we're being honest, isn't that what Cleveland's been waiting for? Not just a decent quarterback. Not just a few highlight plays. But the moment everything changes. The moment they stop drafting for desperation. The moment they stop patching holes year after year. The moment they stop squinting at the depth chart and finally, see clarity at the most important position in football. That's what's on the line right now. It's not just about how Shedeur Sanders plays on Sunday, it's about what his presence on the field represents. Control. Consistency. A reason to stop looking over the fence at everyone else's quarterback situation. And that's exactly why Mel Kiper's take landed the way it did. This wasn't just a nod of approval. It was a shift in narrative. When someone like Kiper says, he looks like an NFL starter, it means scouts are listening. GMs are rewatching the tape. Coaches around the league are asking themselves if they missed something. And inside the Browns building, it means the room gets quieter. Because now there's pressure, from outside, from inside, and from the field itself. This is no longer about potential. It's about proof. And Shedeur is giving them that. Whether the coaching staff expected it or not. So what's the smart move here? Let him grow. Let him make mistakes. But also let him build off the things he's already doing well. Let him show that the calm under pressure, the footwork, the vision, those weren't just one-week wonders. Because every snap he takes is either reinforcing the hype or revealing another level to his game. And look, there will be adversity. No rookie goes through a season without bumps. But the way Sanders handled the Ravens in his debut tells you everything about his ability to handle pressure. The Ravens don't ease up. They don't simplify. They throw you into the deep end. And he didn't drown, he swam. And that means now the 49ers are next. A team with a better defensive front, but a secondary that's vulnerable. This game is winnable. This game is make-a-statement territory. With 2 full weeks of first-team reps, with more chemistry and rhythm, this could be the performance that forces every last skeptic in Cleveland's building to acknowledge what they have. Because at a certain point, even the most stubborn coaches have to face the film. And if Sanders steps onto the field and delivers again, cool, composed, decisive, then this entire organization is going to have to get on the same page. That means giving him the job. Not temporarily. Not cautiously. But confidently. Because you don't take the keys away from someone who's already driving better than expected. And if that happens, if Shedeur Sanders keeps proving himself, it's not just a win for him. It's a win for the Browns. For a franchise that's been chasing stability for decades, they might have finally found it in the unlikeliest place. A 5th-round pick with 1 week of prep and the mindset of a 10-year. So what do you think? Has Sanders already proven enough to be the guy in Cleveland? Or does this next game still hold the verdict? Let us know in the comments. Hit that like button if you're here for the rise of a rookie that no one saw coming this fast. Share this with someone who still thinks he needs more time. And make sure to subscribe if you want every twist in this quarterback saga as it unfolds. Because whether Cleveland's ready or not, Shedeur Sanders is here.